What was the rating for the show?
840,000. But there was I guess Meltzer reported that there was what do you say here? Like the number wasn't good, but there was let me see.
840,000, which includes 380,000 18 to 49. Dynamite was down 3% in total viewership, up 10% for 18 to 49.
Right.
What was the reason they got that rating?
Hang on. The Dave says like let me. Okay, so the AEW. So Dave reported this before the rating came out. So the AEW rating is likely way down because of the Spectrum cable issues. That's 30 million homes with problems, both video and then audio throughout the show. And NHL will. So I guess Spectrum cable, the Spectrum cable system, had issues last night. So it
That's
probably
in the Northeast, right?
Yeah. So, but the show was, honestly, the show was pretty good.
This was the best show they've done in a long time.
Right. So let's go over it. Okay, honestly, I'll be honest. The show. So they started with the Diamond Battle Royal, right? And I don't know who. This is, bro. They do these battle royals with these guys, and bro, there's a lot of indie workers in that ring. That are from the indie, and they just don't really know how to fight. That look like they don't know how to brawl. Like the brawling on this did not look good at all, right? They did a spot. I guess Dalton Castle was in here, and he had the two little young boys out there, and they did a spot where he was like on the apron. He got knocked off the apron, but they caught him and threw him back up, and they were holding him so he didn't touch the floor. And that's creative, right? That's creative and everything. But to me, it was like, I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, these guys probably were in the back and were going over this and thought this would look great. I thought it looked so silly. I mean, it just, I don't know. I guess it's an entertaining spot to people, but it was just kind of ridiculous,
I'm not watching as closely as I have in the past, but I'm looking here and it says Kip Sabian was in there. Now he had a big return. He had a big return with a new look about a month or so ago, but they haven't.
Right
now, he's just back to doing nothing.
Well, did you watch the show?
No, I did not get to see the show.
Okay, well, he did. He actually ends up doing something, right?
Okay.
So let me just go over some of this stuff. So Matt Harley was nearly.
I love the fact that our producer does not watch it. He gets paid.
It's not intentional, Conan. I just was busy last night. I usually do watch Dynamite, though.
No defense.
No, in his defense, you don't really care what he has to say. So that's
I don't, but it would be nice that chirp in something every now and then, like at least you're watching or interested or invested or something.
No, I usually watch. I missed it this week, dude. I was just busy.
Okay. Well, you can't force Joe to watch the shows. I mean, come on.
No, it's
hard to watch wrestling these days, especially all the shows right now are kind of.
Bro, the guy goes to the shows. What do you mean force?
Yeah, no, he's right. I just sometimes I have time to watch it, sometimes I don't. It's not intentional. That I'm not skipping it on purpose,
Well, why are you going to pick? You're going to pick on Harry Ruiz for being a big AEW mark, and you're going to pick on Joe for not watching the show.
Well, if Harry wasn't watching the show, I'd bury his lame ass too.
Right. But he did have a good call on the Josh Jacobs touchdown.
He did have a good.
Yes.
Seva.
Good for Harry. That's awesome.
So Matt Hardy was nearly eliminated by Ricky Starks during the break. The Butcher and Sean Dean. Sean Dean was in here. I don't even know who that is. Right? Okay.
It's like a drinker.
Right. They battled in the ropes.
Morgan. But so, bro, here's the thing: when they first came out, and you probably thought the same thing. The first guy that came out was Ricky Starks, right? So you were like, and my wife, who does not watch wrestling, does not like wrestling. The only thing she will stop to watch is if you're on or Rey Mysterio's on. Or the NWO. For some reason, she likes the NWO. Other than that, she could give a fuck.
Right.
And her comment when she saw Ricky Starks was, "This guy's right," and I was like, "That have an androgynous look to him." Yes, you are correct.
I mean, the wrestlers these days do have kind of that, like the perfect, well manicured, Let
me tell you a little backstory on Ricky Starks. So. When we were doing Aero Lucha with those good old boys, the Harris twins,
right?
We did a Texas swing, all right? Mm-hmm. So, of course, we used Texas talent. And that's when your boy Vinny Russo was working with us. And so I was like, The guys that stuck out to me and I thought, wow, I want to work with these guys were in this order: Sammy Guevara, Aaron Solo, and Ricky Starks, who had a team called Best. I don't know if you can look it up, Joe, but it had a cool name, like Main Event or like they had a cool tag team name, right? Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow, these guys have charisma and they could really be somebody. And I was really looking forward to working with Ricky and Aaron and Sammy. And then the other standout from that swing was Thunder Rosa. So I ended up working with Sammy in Mexico, who he's actually our mixed tag champion with his wife, Conti, Mello, whatever. Right. And I lost track of Ricky and the other guy. But anyways, Ricky comes out first, and I'm thinking, cool, who's he going to wrestle? And Jungle Boy comes out. So I'm thinking, this is different, and it's going to be good. Then all of a sudden, for some reason, they trot out Dustin Rhodes, who got a humongous pop. And I was like, okay, this already went downhill real quick. Then when they got to the ring and you saw the J-Brones there, like the Butcher and Dalton Castle and the Castle Boys. And right. I was like, what is going on here? Another J-Brone Battle Royal where it's all jabronis, you really don't care. It's and then that's exactly what it was. Right. It was just, and bro, has Dalton used to be like a pretty boy in ROH in good shape. He's got Joey Janela, yeah.
But Joey Janela's in good shape right now. Did you know
in better
that?
shape, yes.
No,
right.
he's in very good shape.
Yeah. Well, I saw him in Mexico. Good shape.
Yeah.
It says here their tag team was called.
Bro, and you know when what was it called?
Extra Talented.
Extra Talented. I like that name. So, anyways, they had and bro, you know what really breaks my heart every time I see this, and I bet it breaks yours, when I see Brian Cage. How could you miss on somebody that, talented? You know what I'm saying? He looks like a nobody, like a stale, I'm like, oh my God, you have a star in your hands, just like Warlord, and you don't even know what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's get back to this. That's what I was saying, because they had a lot of indie guys in this, and you knew they weren't going to win.
Right.
You knew it was like only 2 or 3 guys who would probably win this thing. But that's fine. A lot of battle.
Why is Ethan bossing Matt Hardy around?
Because the storyline is he's supposed to be part of the faction.
When
they did it, like one of these cheap backstage interviews that last 1 minute. Right, exactly. Right. So it's like. So they started bossing him around, and Matt Hardy got mad he was being bossed around, and that was like a thread. Another thread was Cassidy and Kip Sabian had something going on, but the rest of it was just like Jack.
I would have liked when Jack Perry got eliminated by Morrissey, which was kind of weak. I wish.
He didn't get. No, that's the thing. He didn't get eliminated by Morrissey.
Yeah, he eliminated.
No. Morrissey wasn't in the ring. Wasn't in the match.
Right.
He was hanging on to the thing trying to get eliminated, and Morrissey kicked him and eliminated him from the match, but not like he eliminated. He caused him to get eliminated, right?
Yeah. Well, that's how I took it, but I thought Luchasaurus should have done that spot.
Well, that's the fact that I mean, you had Lee Moriarty and everything, and I'm thinking like, wow, wouldn't this have been a good spot for Lance Archer?
And don't forget Captain Dean.
Miro, Captain Sean Dean.
What a great name.
I'm like, bro, they had this could have been, you could have more compelling stuff here. Right. I didn't like it.
Is there anything of Captain John Dean that indicates any rank of a captain? Like when you look at him, aren't you thinking corporal?
Yeah, right.
Like private. Yeah.
All right. So basically
okay, finish the Battle Royal review and we'll jump to Billy.
Okay.
No, you can finish Dynamite. I watched it, so it's fine.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, we got about 20 minutes.
You can chirp in if you want.
No, you know what? Let's okay. Well, Ricky Starks.
Let's finish it.
Okay, let's finish. So basically, Starks gets Ethan Page puts him on his shoulder, goes and runs to eliminate him, but as they go over, I don't know how.
I like that finish.
But it didn't make a lick. How Page had Starks on his shoulder?
He took his forward momentum and he catapulted him forward. It was
How is that physically possible to do?
They did it. If you can't do it, it wouldn't be physically possible.
It didn't make any logical sense whatsoever.
Maybe not logical, but wrestling sense. It was a wrestling move, bro.
Okay, I know, but I'm just saying.
It wasn't a logical move.
Throwing the guy over.
It was a wrestling move. What's the logic of dropping down and leapfrogging him? There is none. It's a wrestling thing.
I don't know. I think it was completely illogical.
Oh yeah, it was illogical.
But
It was a wrestling move.
But Ricky Starks win.
What wrestling move is logical?
I don't know. But everything in this match, the right guy won. Okay.
Right.
All right. Now we'll go. We'll do Billy now, and then we'll come back to the.
Can I just say something about that?
Go ahead.
Right.
What everybody, it was so these wrestlers, or however this show's booked. Obviously, there is some preparation done, which you can't knock people for because it's not. I don't think it's booked on the day. Like we
right.
know.
Well, for people that don't know, Billy, if you were to walk in, and this is how wrestling's changed. When I first walked into the business, nobody was in the ring. You might have a couple guys that were testing out the ropes. You had guys like Brian Pillman, who were the first guys I ever saw in the United States really go over a match. But nobody else was going over matches when I got to WCW. And I remember going over a match and people making fun of me. Bro, when you go into a show now, they're already going over the match in the car, backstage. Sometimes there'll be matches that are 3 versus 3, and it looks like it's 1-on-1 because two guys are just like the whole time. And then they get into the ring and they do their whole match 2 or 3 times. Then you always have the veterans watching them and going, well, you could change this and make it better. And so by the time you watch the finished product and you can tell who the perpetrators are, that match has been gone over like 15 times.
Maybe that's why they have so many botches.
Well,
it's because they're not. People are not.
And it doesn't look organic because it isn't organic.
Right, exactly. Maybe that's why there's so many botches because all people are doing is scripting their matches out move for move, and they're not learning how to just feel
work.
like it when you're out the right work, right? So
right.
The Randy Savage thing, but the point I was going to make is that even the creative is obviously mapped out as well. They're not doing rewrites an hour before the show. That's one thing that Tony Khan isn't doing. It's definitely not a good show at the moment. So Ricky Starks and MJF were working the angle for this and going back and forth on Twitter the week before. If your fan base is hardcore, which this fan base is, this is a very internet savvy kind of fan base. Don't do that, because if I'm going to watch a battle royal for 20 minutes and I look at the other people involved and I don't see any real top guys here, and I'm trying to work out, okay, which upper mid-card guy are they going to elevate? I knew Ricky Starks was winning because I knew him and MJF had started this on Twitter this week. I knew it wasn't going to be Jungle Boy or anybody like that. If I didn't see the Twitter stuff, maybe Jungle Boy would have won. But I don't understand why guys do that. Obviously, he was told 2 weeks ahead, week ahead, you're going to be winning. So they started working the stuff on Twitter during the week. Like, it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's no surprises on the show anyway. So why are you ruining it?
I didn't know the Twitter thing, so it was news to me. So I wasn't as outraged as you. But I do wonder in this Diamond Battle Royal thing, why wasn't MJF involved? Why wasn't he defending his ring? Because he's won it like 3 times. I think he said in a promo. Why didn't he come out and defend it or vacate it or put the ring?
Because the winner of the Battle Royal gets a shot at the ring, not the belt.
Yeah, but
is that what it is?
But he's the guy that.
Okay, wait.
But he's the guy that's holding the ring.
Right. So maybe the angle is maybe Brian
Danielson. Does the ring come out and cut a promo on him? I mean, come on.
I think maybe Danielson comes back next week, costs him the match. He loses the ring to Ricky Starks, and then they set up and then Ricky Starks loses a title match, and then Brian gets the pay-per-view title match.
That wouldn't be a bad angle.
Wait, when is the pay-per-view?
Wait, it says here the winner of the battle
Friday.
The winner of the battle royal will earn a match with AEW World Champion MJF. But that's not for the title.
That's what I thought.
That's not for the title,
Wait,
Billy.
Just a match?
It doesn't say a title shot. It says a match.
Wait a minute. So this isn't even a title match?
They said the match. They said the winner gets a shot at the diamond ring. That's what they said a few times.
Starks is getting a shot at the diamond ring.
Yeah.
Didn't you just say title?
So wait a minute.
No, it's not. It's not for the title.
Okay, let me get this right. So MJF has the ring and the title.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Ricky Starks won the match for the ring, not the title.
Yeah. So maybe he'll win. Maybe he wins the ring, and then he gets a title match because he's got the ring, and maybe Danielson helps him to aid their angle.
That's our problem with AEW.
Right. Yeah.
Check this out. He not
shouldn't
only
be this.
Joe
should not
has
be
info.
this confusing.
Right. Joe has info. What do you got, Joe?
Okay, so he won the shot for the diamond ring by the Battle Royal, but he also has a title shot because he won the World Championship Eliminator Tournament. He's got
that's
both.
Right. He won the right. So he won both of these things?
So basically, what they're hoping is that you're a super nerd with no life and you remember all these details, or go out of your way to look for them in the different platforms. I don't have that time. If I was 10, maybe.
Well, look at the super nerds. When Lance Storm his tweet is on the thing, and he's explaining, like, he seems like he's like, why is, like, he's doing a rant and he puts it on Twitter. It's like, why are Adam Page and Moxley so pissed off, like so angry at each other?
Right.
And like he's saying, like, and then Brady's going, well, because Moxley knocked him out, and he's. It's like, yeah, he knocked him out with a wrestling move, and he knocked the guy out. Like, that's what he was trying to do. And like, but why is there so much heat now? So it's like, I don't know. And then of course, all the AEW marks that watch all the shows are explaining to him, well, he did this, and I'm like, like, there's no way.
Here's my $1 million question for you: are you a fan of the Adam Page butterfly and fringe pants?
Me or Billy?
Yes, you.
No.
Okay.
No, bro, let me tell you something. I go, okay, right now in Vegas, okay?
I think that's hilarious, bro. He came out with some...
Let me tell you. I'll tell you exactly the perfect. I'll give you a perfect story here. So at the South Point Casino right now is packed because Vegas has the National Rodeo Finals in town.
Right.
And it's unbelievable. Like, like, you're in San Diego, Billy, you're in England, Joe, you're in Philly, right? Do you ever see anybody walking around dressed like a cowboy?
No.
Like wearing a cowboy hat? Like, so, okay, you just don't see them. But when the rodeo comes to town, it's like this town is flooded with them. Everybody's got cowboy hats and the cowboy outfit on, the jeans and the big belt buckles of the cow and
butterfly jeans.
But the funny thing is that the girls dress kind of cowboyish too with the thing, but the girls dress like Adam Page.
Right.
Like the girl cowboys. And like the guy cowboy. That's about the best way I can describe it. If you go to South Point, it's like they're wearing, the girls are wearing Adam Page's clothes.
Butterfly jeans and the fringes.
Right. And, that's a perfect description.
Yeah.
Right.
The buckle bunnies.
Awesome.
Okay, so after the Battle Royal, after Ricky Starks wins, which, everybody kind of knew he'd won, Ethan Page was doing some stuff with them at the end, and Matt Hardy, and I don't know, but just like we said, it was kind of silly. But after the match, MJF walks to the ring and told Starks he'd be with him in 1 second. He then addressed Bryan Danielson, said he heard he didn't want to show up tonight, and MJF thought it's because he was terrified of him. And MJF said if he were Danielson, he'd be terrified too, and said he would retain both his AEW championship and the Dynamite Diamond next week. MJF said this crowd seemed to like him and he was really talented, but the truth is, in comparison to him, he's an absolute. He then called him a Rudy Poo candy ass since he's stolen everything else from that guy. Oh, he's talking about
The Rock.
Starks. No, he's addressing Starks.
Right.
He then called him a Rudy Poo candy ass since he's stolen everything else from that guy, and followed him up and called him the Dollar Store Dwayne, and said his new name should be the Pebble. MJF then next week he would put Starks in his pocket, get into his brand new Porsche Taycan, and send him back to Billy Corgan's NWA so he can wrestle on YouTube where he belongs. MJF said he doesn't care if Starks is absolute because he's a generational talent. His reign of terror has just begun. AEW just trademarked that term, reign of terror, too, by the way. Ricky then brushed by MJF and nudged him with his shoulder and grabbed a microphone. He asked Max if he had any more shtick because the low-hanging fruit was running dry. He then said he smells like paint thinner and ass, his shoes are ugly, and his shirt was too small. Said he reeks of cheap clothes, cheap shoes, and cheap heat. Said he has the balls to say he's better than him. Ricky said MJF went to Greece for 3 months because he got out politicked by someone smarter than him. And Starks said MJF avoids responsibility because everything has been handed to him. Starks recalled living in his car and pointed to a woman in the crowd and told him he's responsible for keeping her in a car and putting a roof over her head. He continued and said he's been to YouTube and earned his way into AEW and didn't even name to beat his ass. Starks claimed he would smack the mole off MJF's neck and stomp him so he could take the responsibility of being AEW champion off his plate. When Starks finished his promo, they stood face to face, and MJ kicked him right in the balls and lined him up for a punch with the Dynamite Diamond, but Starks avoided and hit him with a spear. This was an excellent promo by both guys. I don't want to be critical because this was so good, but it's just, you just look at what Ricky Starks has had to offer all this time, and the fact that he's been kind of underutilized, and that it's kind of a shame that they stuffed all this into one big giant 30 minutes, like 25-minute segment, like to promote this match. And this was like a magical, like this was a great promo battle back and forth between these guys. But, but like I said, this is the build. So here we are. But Ricky Starks was excellent on them. Ricky Starks' promo was better than MJF. The crowd was in it. What did you think, Conan?
Yeah, I thought it was a great promo by MJF, very scathing. You can tell that they're shooting on each other, which makes it, they do inside stuff that, for the insiders, and then they do stuff for the mass audience. And then Ricky Starks is probably the first guy that's really gone toe-to-toe with MJF and probably had a better promo than him. It was a promo of his life. You could tell he'd been saving that for a while, and it was great. The people turned on MJF. Which is good because he's a heel.
Yeah.
And they're into Starks. Really good. I didn't like the shot to the balls. It looked very weak. They should do it Mexican style, rear back, and just kick the and then sell the out of it. They could have gotten a lot more out of that. But other than that, this was a star-making segment for Ricky Starks because nobody's been able to get close, not even Punk, not anybody, to MJF on the mic. So we're going to see some good fireworks coming up, which I enjoy mic work.
Yeah, there was a little bit of doubt and stuff on Twitter and social media about, Ricky Starks is going to be the first challenger. What's that? And then tonight or last night, he definitely proved it to me that he's ready to step up,
Yeah, I'll still be honest. This was a good performance by Ricky Starks, which shows that, he's been underutilized, and this guy is another guy that should be getting multiple minutes on the mic instead of 1 minute in a backstage segment. He should be in the ring cutting promo, burying people like he just did with this good stuff, right? But the only thing with this is I'm still not buying him as a guy that's going to beat MJF. You know what I mean? Because MJF just the MJF run has been 2 years.
But the good thing is he'll get a good rub off of it.
Yes, perfect.
You can make a guy.
Yeah, it's a good. He'll definitely get a good rub.